yet? Are we live yet? Are we live yet? We're live!
We're live! We're live! We're there, Stevie. We are
Yeah,
live.
are we there yet? I was being the annoying little child. Welcome back, friends.
Are we there yet?
Welcome back to another awesome episode of Horror Metal Casts, and we're super stoked to be back. Thank you for tuning in if you are watching us live, and if you are tuning in later, thanks for checking us out. Real quick point out here, I have some awesome taped up body parts today because I spent the majority of my day in a tattoo shop. So pardon my appearance. But anyway, how are you doing tonight, Joe?
I am doing just ducky over here. I'm a little under the weather, I think. The weather here is very gloomy in New Jersey. It's overcast and but it's all right because I have my wife's cup out, and I didn't want to show anybody this, but I'm going to do it anyway. This is my wife's cup, right?
I bought her that cup. I bought. Is it the Tinkerbell cup?
Yep.
I bought her that cup.
That's
I think
the
it
other
was for
side
Christmas.
Right there. I'll show you that. There you go. That's I wasn't going to show anybody that. I didn't want anybody to see that.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell is amazing.
Nothing sentimental.
So I hope you're not getting sick.
No, I don't think I think I'm just a little tired.
Yeah.
I got a surprise actually for you. And this is small. This is nothing big. All right. So do you see the shirt that I'm wearing?
I see the upper half of the shirt that you're wearing.
I'll give you like this. There we go. So
okay.
I'm wearing now. This is a fun fact for fans of Stevie. You all know her and love her for her writing abilities, right? And her charm and wit here on Horr0r Metal Cast.
Oh,
but did you know that Stevie was a singer in a metal band? She was actually a singer in a metal band. And the T-shirt that I am wearing right now belongs to a gentleman named Angel Vivaldi. That should ring a bell.
Yes, of course. I know. I couldn't see what the shirt was. So if Jonathan ever sees this and he's like, "You bitch, how do you not know what my shirt looks like?" I'm going to be like, "Listen, I don't know what your shirt looks like because it looks like I'm looking at a potato with Joe's voice." So
yeah, that's right. Exactly. That's right. It's, it's all stuff.
This video quality is so amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love my video quality.
Angel Vivaldi, aka Jonathan Cardinellis, is a very old friend of mine. He's the sweetest, most sweetheart, and I adore him. He's a good guy, all around great guy, and he is so talented. So amazing. That is amazing. Yes, and thank you for supporting him wearing his shirt.
I caught him at Dingbats a few months back.
Hell yes.
Oh, he was great. He was just amazing, and he actually told me to say hi to everybody. So it's a little later than not, but I am saying hi to everybody.
Oh yeah. Hey, whatever. He's good people. He'll forgive us for being busy.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt. No. You're good. You're good. Hey, whatever. I was gonna say, you were saying you were under the weather, and you're talking about how the weather up in New Jersey sucks. Well, for those of you that don't know, down here in Florida, we are facing currently a Category 1 hurricane is on its way directly to me and many other people that live in this area. I'm not worried personally. I'm not a panicker. I'm not going to fall into mass hysteria over it, but everybody out there, be safe. I will tell you, hurricanes bring out the fucking worst in people. So after I left the tattoo shop and I was like, well, I should probably have some supplies on hand, like water, food in case the power goes out, shit like that. So I go to the supermarket, and you would think that nukes were about to be dropped on us. You would think the zombie apocalypse was about to happen. You would think
that would be fun.
You would think famine, or dude, people were running around throwing things in their cart from the shelves. They were bumping into people. They're standing in the middle of aisles, just taking up aisles on the sofa. Well, what should I get? And they're like screaming into the phone. This very large woman rammed her shopping cart into me, hit me on my ass.
Oh no, you did.
I turned around and I said, "Excuse me," and this was her response: "Ha ha 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 ha!" Like fucking Tina from Bob's Burgers. Ha, 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 ha. Just that's all she responded. And I said, "You shouldn't be out of your house, psycho." Like, listen, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but you hit me with your car. You shouldn't be out of your house, psycho. And then she just, and like that was like the noise that came out of her mouth. And then she like scurried away. Yeah. And I was like, get me the motherfuck out of this store. I was like, you shouldn't me that this is my experience right now. So whatever.
Panic-stricken people are no fun. It's true.
Passed by a gas station, came home, and turned on the television to hear the media blowing things wildly out of proportion.
Oh, yeah.
They said that gas stations had no more gas. And I was like, but I was just there. And then they said that no one had water. There is currently no water available in the Bay County area. And I was like, but I just bought some. And
you heard it here first, folks, on Metal Horror Cast. There are supplies out there. Go get them. Just don't be a psychotic nut when you do. Go ahead,
I was like, but I just bought some. And why are you making people panic? And I feel like that has a lot to do. And so this is kind of segueing into my next thing, is that it oftentimes in disaster films or apocalyptic films, things like that, you see mass hysteria and you see people behaving like psychos, like that fucking woman in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Unnecessarily. Well, in the movies, yeah, there's impending doom. But like right now, it's like, well, why are you acting this way? Is it because you've been watching the news or you've been with your nose on Facebook and you've been listening in, just nonstop to the Weather Channel? It's like,
all the above. These people just, they lose their cookies. Mass media has run so rampant that it's so ingrained into everybody's life now that it's like almost like peer pressure, that if you don't run to the store and get 8 loaves of bread, you're going to be ostracized for life. You know what I mean? You didn't buy 4 loaves of wheat bread, and you're out there, you're dead, man. They're going to take you out in the street and lynch you because you don't got 12 cases.
Exactly. And it just blows my mind how they are blowing it out of proportion. How dare you say on national television that there's no more gas or water?
What are they going to talk about? There'd be nothing else for them to talk about.
I live on an island.
Right.
There's a bridge. There's basically 3 ways off where I live. Bridges. Right. And they are fucking acting. The island of Panama City Beach, you will be trapped unless you evacuate. You will be trapped. And I'm like, trapped with what? Yes, I understand. If you have if you have beachfront property, you probably shouldn't stay there because if it is landing at a category 3, it's going to be a nasty storm surge and you're going to be fucked. So you probably should leave. I'm in evacuation zone C. I'm not leaving. Call me an asshole. I have no water anywhere near me that can flash flood or kill me or anything like that. Okay.
Right.
And if something's going to happen, it's going to happen. I've never left for any other storm. Not trying to downplay it because I feel like if you are in an A zone, you probably should leave because that's like right on the coastline. But it's like the media is they are fucking creating fear unnecessarily. The storm is still a day and a half out. Calm your shit. Calm your tits. There's no need for panic. There's no need for panic. And I felt like today was like the perfect disaster storyline. You know what I mean? Like, come on. And what's so funny is that, so I spent like 3.5 hours disconnected from the computer. I wasn't on the internet, not hardly once did anybody talk about the hurricane in the tattoo shop. You know, my best friend was there with me to help me pass the time. So neither of us were fucking around on our phones. And I just kind of left and I'm like, why is everyone driving like an asshole? You know, so it's really funny. It almost reminds me of something like, you know, maybe like Shaun of the Dead where, you know, where he wakes up and he has no idea the world has ended. And so he's really calm. And I kind of
awesome.
That's how I kind of felt. I was like, why is everybody acting like such a dick? And then, you know,
I'm sorry. I was searching for something on the phone while we were talking.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. But anyway, so that was my day today. And maybe you'll even spark a short story or something where I can write about psychotic people during a hurricane.
Well, you know what it is? People are so sequestered, you know, with the advent of social media, you know, everybody pretty much stays in the house now. You know, where do people go now? I mean, you go out on the weekends and so forth, but most people don't need to venture out of their homes anymore during the week because they have everything they need in front of them. You can shop, order food, you know, watch a movie, whatever it is that you want to do, everything's in front of you. So you don't have to go anywhere, right? And so with that in place, you know, you're so pushed and the need becomes so desperate to make sure that you have everything you need because this mecca, this God, social media is telling you you don't have what you need, you will die. It's like, you know, everybody loses their fucking cookies.
It's so true because I think it was somebody. Okay, my husband showed it to me. Obviously, I don't have Facebook, but my husband showed it to me the other day. One of his friends had shared a video, and then I saw it on Reddit, and it was this. I don't know if it was real or it was a joke. That the weatherman was like, if this storm moves 20 miles to the west, you are all going to die. Your family will die. Your children will die. You're all going to die. And he was dead fucking serious. And I was kind of like, well, fuck. This is why people flip the fuck out. You know, God forbid that somebody just is like, listen, a storm's coming. Calmly evacuate if you would like to. No, they are like, you're gonna die. There will be a flood, water rising to the roof of your house, and you're gonna drown, lady. Like, so the shit is a little bit ridiculous. How they want people. What in the world are you doing?
Can you hear that?
I hear nonsense.
What the hell's a mic on my computer?
I don't know. I don't know what you're playing. I have no idea what you're doing.
That's Godzilla.
All I hear, every once in a while, I hear bat, bat. That's all I'm hearing.
I don't know where the mic on my computer is.
It's all good. So anyway,
it's over here somewhere.
I'm done talking about this damn storm. So we can kind of talk about.
We're mad tonight. I think let's have an angry show. You want to be angry, Stevie, tonight?
Pissed off. Let's be pissed off.
Fucking
well, I was actually going to talk about a really surprisingly good movie that I watched yesterday. Well, I watched 3 movies yesterday. Yesterday was like the day to relax after I attended 2 back-to-back beer festivals.
Wow.
I'll never do that again. and then I went to somebody else's house and watched the Conor McGregor fight. So I had been drinking for like 13 hours. Yeah. So needless to say, I didn't do much yesterday except for watch movies with my friends who had stayed over at our house. And then I took a nap. I don't know why I took a sleep made sense. I took a nap and then I woke up and watched more movies. So I watched 1 out of 3 films that was good. And the other 2 were like, one was and the other made me very angry because I did not like it that much. All 3 were horror films.
Okay.
And I think so. I'll talk about the one that pissed me off. I'll talk about the one that pissed me off the most. It's called Hold the Dark.
Yeah. Now, who is that?
Some
Who was
shit on Netflix.
Yeah, I was actually going to watch that. Now I saw a trailer for it. And,
well, let me tell you something that I wish I had known going into it. It is based on a book.
Mm-hmm.
And so I looked it up afterwards because it just made me very angry. The acting was great. It was a stellar cast. Even pieces of the storyline were so interesting, but all together, it was just so convoluted. Things didn't flow very well. A lot of it was very slow.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ending was just that abrupt. And
no.
I would suggest for people that are wanting to watch Hold the Dark and that they're wanting to enjoy it, I would suggest doing a little bit of research. Yes, that means you may have to spoil yourself on a few things. Right. But I felt like had I known a little bit more about it, that it was based on a book, and if I had perhaps researched the source material a little bit better, I would have enjoyed the film, because it just made me that angry about how there wasn't enough consistency and the ending was far too abrupt. And unfortunately, I will not give it a second chance. A lot of the times, if I don't like a film, I will go back and rewatch it, unless it's complete trash fire. But this one, unfortunately, I will not go back and rewatch because it's over 2 hours long and of how many parts of it drag.
Right.
So my suggestion to you or anybody out there, if you have yet to watch it, do a little bit of research, throw your hands up and just allow yourself to be spoiled. The second film that we watched that was the meh film was called Malevolent. It's another film on Netflix. The premise is fantastic. It's about these two
another one I saw I wanted to watch.
So brother and sister, right? Okay. They are running a scam on people that she, sets ghosts or spirits rather. Yeah. She sets them free out of the house and they scam people for money. It's the two siblings and then like the guy's girlfriend and like another little friend. So this concept and the premise was so cool.
Yeah, I saw that. It looks fun.
But it was executed poorly.
Boy.
So I'm not going to give spoilers away, but I believe, and it's only, I want to say, I think the movie is only about an hour and a half, hour 40.
Right.
So it's not a long ass film. But 30 minutes of that could have been cut out.
Wow.
Easily 30 minutes of that film could have been cut out. There are a ton of cheesy jump scares, which one or two here and there are fine. But when you overkill on the jump scares, it becomes like eye rolling and you're just kind of like, oh wow, another blast of loud music.
Oh look, it came out of the closet with an axe again.
Oh wow, you just zoomed in on a scary face. Ooh, a mannequin. Listen, I really wanted to like it. I did because I thought the final act of the movie is what saved it for me. I don't know, like, would I be like, yeah, let me recommend this to you? But if it's a rainy day, if you have nothing else to watch, there's far worse on Netflix that you could be watching.
Oh, yeah.
So Malevolent is not a bad film. It just drags ass, and like 30 minutes of it could have been.
I need constant movement. I need upbeat. Yeah. I mean, that's just me. There's a lot of people that get off on the suspense thing and the build. And I do too. Don't get me wrong. A good build on a movie is something that's, if it's done correctly, I love it. And then there's other people that try very hard to capture that nuance and build that suspense up, and it's not there, and you got to sit through like 20 minutes of the worst build in history, to get to the jump scare, right? And it's like, oh man, that was a letdown to have.
Like I said, check it out or don't check it out.
Right.
That's one I could take or leave. I didn't hate it.
Right.
I didn't love it. I wanted to, but I didn't. The third movie that I watched yesterday was a French film, but it is entirely in English, which surprised me. I was expecting subtitles, but there were none. The Night Eats the World.
I saw that as well. Okay, I didn't see that movie yet. There's a 3 on my list, believe it or
not. Not on Netflix. You can rent it on Amazon.
Yes.
It was surprisingly fantastic.
Wow.
Of course, it doesn't come without its flaws, but it is basically a one-man show. I'll say that. The main character is isolated for a majority of the film. There's not much dialogue, but the soundtrack is decent. And he's also happens to be a musician. He's mainly a drummer, which you'll probably like that character. Exactly. So he spends, I did like the fact that they showed how a regular average Joe would spend his time during the apocalypse. Well, I found a drum set, so I'm going to play the fucking drums. Why not? You know what I mean? Some reviews I read were that, oh, it was so boring. There's not enough dialogue. But the fact of the matter was the actor did a good job in this one-man show. You know what I mean? Like he kept things interesting enough, and he was captivating enough that I didn't need 5 or 6 or even 2 or 3 people on screen at all times.
To film.
Yeah. So now this is a zombie film. However, what sets it apart is the fact that I've never seen this in a film before. The zombies are completely silent.
No noise. That's something that makes sense though. You know, you see all these things, that the zombies are coming after you. Half the rib cage is open and gone, so
they don't breathe, so how can they make noise?
Right, exactly. There's no air going in or out, so how are they pushing this? Since their vocal cords are probably rotted out, but they all, you know what I mean? They got to make a noise. They have to make a noise.
And I think that's what was creeping me out, is because they were making zero noise.
That's kind of like the original Night of the Living Dead zombies. And that was a very creepy aspect of them. I mean, they would grunt once in a while, but 90% of that movie was very quiet. Exactly, right. Out of nowhere, all of a sudden they just come out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, like the what was it? The little girl's father in the basement or something. Whenever he woke up, and he was just kind of like,
just took and I think that was the first movie, probably in U.S. history, that a kid bit it, in the movie. And
she did.
That scene alone, that scene alone was like, it was priceless, but it was next to silent. There was no creepy music really behind it, and it was just the scene and the atmosphere carried the scene, which is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and I think that's why I liked it, was that the atmosphere and the tone of the film carried it. I didn't need the same fucking formula of a group of 5 or 6 people trying to survive, and then there's conflict within the group, or other people come and create conflict. No, it was about one person. And the battle of trying to hold on to not going crazy when you're alone at the end of the world. It was very refreshing. I enjoyed it. He even has a little friend in the elevator. That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
It's just like, it's his little friend, and his name is Alfred. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. No spoiler. I'm going to watch that. I'm probably going to watch that tonight.
But it's a very good film. I highly recommend it. I am a zombie fiend. I love the apocalypse.
Yeah.
It's my favorite subgenre of horror, as anyone who knows me knows. And I think that The Night Eats the World really was a great film. And the fact that there's a little bit of comedy in there, because the guy, like I said, I got to look up this guy's name. I don't remember his name. and I don't mean it to be like disrespectful. I should have probably looked it up before I started talking about it. But he was actually a very, like I said, he was a very captivating actor to be sitting there by himself. But he did a very good job. He was believable. You know, right. He had a sense of humor. He really seemed distraught and terrified at times. He also seemed extremely lonely and sad. So I believed it. I believed it the whole time. And like I said, the makeup and special effects on point. The zombies were super, super creepy because they were realistic. Right. Some were missing limbs. There was no over-the-top makeup that made it silly or campy.
Right. There wasn't like they didn't focus on one zombie special effect. It was in mass, which is the way it would be.
Honestly, they looked like naturally decomposing dead people. And it looked, overall, it was great. And I think that the looming scary aspect of it was, where the hell did everybody go?
Right.
Because the film starts with this guy, our main character. He goes to pick up, because I told you he was a musician. So he goes to pick up some old tapes from his ex-girlfriend's house. Mm-hmm. And, I'm sorry, hold on one second. The Crusader, What Is on My Shoulders. I got some tattoos done today, buddy. So that's what I've got on.
Who's in the chat? We got people in the chat?
His or her name is the Crusader.
That might be the gentleman from MMR. I'm not sure. It's possible.
Oh, perhaps.
Oh, hello guys. How are you? Nice to see you.
Hello, people. Thanks for watching. But real quick, just so I can finish talking about this movie, I'm basically plugging this film. So I hope whoever made it is appreciative of me. But so he goes to pick up some tapes at his ex-girlfriend's house, and he ends up like bumping into some guy, hits his head, and he's like, So he goes into a room and he passes out at this party. And then in the background, we hear the zombies and the attack happening, but they don't fuck with him because he's sleeping in a bed. You know what I mean? So that's how he survives. And things kind of escalate from there. Now, I will say, remember, there's not a lot of dialogue. So you had said earlier, Joe, you need the movie to keep punching.
Yeah, yeah.
I will say, try to make an exception for this one, because The Night Eats the World, it's an awesome film. I was pleasantly surprised. I went in with very, very low expectations, and I was extremely, I was happy to see it. I was glad I stuck around for the whole thing, because it was a very good film.
Awesome.
Very good film.
Well, I got one analogy I'll make, and I don't know who's a fan and who's not of the Avenger movie series. That's the Marvel characters. But at the end of the last Avengers movie, there is a scene at the very end of the movie, and I don't want to play spoiler if you haven't seen it. I'm sure by now, if anybody was going to see that movie, they have, and if they haven't, then you won't
shame
understand
on you.
What I'm talking about. Anyway, well,
if they haven't, fucking shame on you.
Right. Have you seen Avengers Infinity War?
Yeah, I'm caught up.
All right.
Caught up, yes.
At the end of the movie, there's a very apocalyptic theme to it. Mm-hmm. And I'll not say much more than that. But if you know the scene that I'm talking about, from the very tip of that to the very end of that, there is an absence of something there, and it didn't hit me right away. I had to watch it twice in order to get this. It is a very prolific, a very pronounced, and a very deciding.
There's no music.
There's no music. That's right. And it is like all you can hear is wind, and I'm not going to give it away at that. I'm going to say that much and not give it away. But it is precisely what the movie needs to convey the severity of the theme that they're pushing.
Oh, absolutely. Despair and absolutely.
I don't want to give it away.
Yeah. Well, like we said earlier, shame on you if you have yet to see the latest.
Right. Exactly. That's what I was saying earlier.
That's sad.
My headphones are on backwards, so I'm going to put them on correctly now. There we go. Now they're on better. These are my Bose these are slightly expensive bows, and I am unfortunately, I have to use the cord with these.
Well, that just means you have to get a better computer. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, yeah. So send those donations to Metal Horr. No, I'm kidding. We're not looking for any money.
No, you know, you bring up something very
new laptop would be beautiful.
Yeah, right. I'll donate mine and get myself one for Christmas. Speaking of music and how it can, or the absence thereof. So, very little known fact in the film, No Country for Old Men, there's not an entire note of music. There's no score. There's no soundtrack. Nothing.
That's excellent. I think that's
the entire fucking film. The only time there is music is when and his name escapes me, but Josh Brolin's character wakes up in Mexico and there's a mariachi band playing.
Yeah.
But then he's like, he like hands them money. He's like, get away from me. But that is literally the only music in the entire film. And I found that to be, and it was done so well that you don't notice. And I think that's the same thing at the end of
Infinity
War. It's done so well you don't notice.
No, you don't. And it took me a minute to pick up on it, but that is
everything else is so captivating, whether it be the visuals or just whatever's happening in general.
Well, it makes it more realistic because, I mean, you know, when I'm out there, you know, driving down the street and, you know, John K. Citizen drives into the side of my car, there's the only score of music out there is like what's on my radio. And, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
That can vary from Exodus to ABBA. You know what I'm saying? There's a big gap there. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
But, you know, might not be any music at all. And you're not thinking about that during that time. So it's more of a reality for me. It makes it more realistic for me to see it done in that fashion and not have, you know, the big dramatic, you know, score coming in there, you know, and just like crushing everything. Again, movie soundtracks are, you know, I mean, I can remember being like 9 and having this is gonna fuck you up.
Oh Jesus! Are you dating yourself again, Joseph?
Yeah, this is going back to the dark ages, people. Remember now, this is before the prolific era, right after the tin era came into play. No, this an A track, okay, an A track of the sound score from Star Trek, okay, and I would listen to this thing in my headphones, my big headphones. Got a cord like this, but the cord looked like a telephone cord. You know, it did. It looked like a 220 plug. You know, the thing was like all heavy. You had to drag it around with you. But that was, you know, that's back in the day. But now that was a huge music score. The music to when Luke Skywalker is flying down into that trench, man, and he is just kicking the shit out of it, right? Kicking the crap out of everything in front of him. Boom, 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 boom. You know, his little X-Wing, he's out there going. And the soundtrack, you remember, you know, and you remember the music, you know, to it, and it defined the part.
I'm going to hold on because something, and I'm going to like out myself as like major nerd.
Uh-oh.
Did you just fucking say Star Trek and then say Luke Skywalker?
Oh my God, I did.
Because I was gonna get
oh my God,
I was like, wait the fuck up.
Wow! Wow! Oh, look, a squirrel! You know, yeah, I'm not here anymore. The views expressed here on Metal Horror Cast are not exactly the views of this station.
We're canceling the show. We're done here. I was like, we're done.
I just like pretty much destroyed every geek and nerd from here to the West Coast and back.
Also, hold on one second. Alex had popped in for a second and she said, hello, guys.
Hey, what's up, Alex? What's going on?
I don't think she's watching anymore because it showed. Oh, wait, there she is. She sent ha 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 face. Okay, good. Because I was saying it showed somebody more watching, or maybe whoever the Crusader was dropped down. I don't know. Yeah. I'm looking at like live viewers and it like goes up and down.
I'm seeing 1 or 2 here or there, 3 or 4.
Everybody who's tuning in, hi.
Hello to everybody. But yeah, no, you know, I mean, you remember getting back to the point that, you know, that soundtrack for Star Wars.
Yes,
not Star
thank you.
Trek.
Thank you.
Drink more goddamn coffee.
I'll cancel the hit that I had out on you.
Listen, get the fucking name right or you sleep with the goddamn fish. You hear me, you fuck? There you go. I got it. There's death threats coming in. I'm like, no, I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's not real. All right. So anyway, the music that you hear, right, is defining the moment.
Yep. And no, it's true. It's true.
All right. So what is it then about a scene that has no music and it's defined that much better? What makes that possible, do you think, Stevie?
Well, I think, okay, and then this is just my opinion. So when you have moments that are violent or completely, because I'm trying to like find something that's not going to spoil the end to Infinity Wars, even though everyone in the fucking world should see it.
God damn it, get your asses out there.
When you have a moment in a film that's absolutely devastating or tragic, sure, music enhances it. Music makes it more emotional, or music can hype you the fuck up. Right. The absence of it can be jarring, and it can be devastating in and of itself. Mm-hmm. And I think that can sometimes grab you and make you, it can almost grab your attention more so than if there were music. So a strange fact about me, I watch Kingsman: The Golden Circle every Monday when I clean. Look, it's not like the best film on the planet. It's not even a horror film.
I watch them both. I love both of them.
I love them, but I have like a weird schedule with myself where I have to like stick to it. So every Monday I clean my house in case anybody was noticing or wondering. And no, I'm not for hire, but every Monday, I don't know what the hell, HBO must have like a thing where every Monday at the exact same time, Kingsman: The Golden Circle is on, and I have it on in the background while I clean. So there are several moments in the film where the fight scenes are choreographed around the music, or or maybe they had, I don't know how movies work, I don't make them, but maybe they were choreographed and they're like, this is the song we're going to play, so this is what we want to accentuate. I mean, I'm talking like they have Elton John, John Denver, the song Word Up. I don't know who sings it. But you know, films like that where, like I said, music can hype you the fuck up.
Merlin will be back.
Oh, I wish. But hey, spoiler alert. You know, when you have something like that, now imagine a film like that. You better watch her. I'm going to cut it off.
Oh, little camera. See, I got the little box down there. It's a little tiny.
Oh my God.
Sorry,
Alex said sometimes the stream stops and then in a few seconds restarts. She's having a coffee. She's still at work. Oh, awesome.
Well, thank you for watching. And
thank you.
We got to get better equipment here. I think that's what's just going to have to happen.
And tonight's just kind of like a free-form episode anyway, so it's not like anybody's missing anything real exciting.
No, we're just chewing it tonight, man. We're just going back and forth. It's cool.
But anyway, like I was saying, so a film like that, I think, would be less effective to not have music in your face. However, a film that is darker and trying to be more thought-provoking, I feel like the absence of music grasps you harder because you have nothing else to think about.
Right.
What's going on in front of your eyes.
Right. It's right in front of you. There is no other. The music is almost like another reality that you could jump into and see it from a different spot, if that makes any sense to anybody, but when you don't have it.
That's what you know, kind of bothers me about some of these like shows or films that are post-apocalyptic, or they're supposed to be set in the future, and then they're playing modern day music, and I'm like, you just took me out of the fantasy. You just took me out of the fictional world.
Right.
And you made me think about something else besides what was going on, because I would like to know how the fuck 100 years in the future Ariana Grande is playing.
You don't know. Yeah, that's just
when
weird.
Technically the fucking song didn't come out because the world ended before the song came out. So, and that's what's stupid to me. When
they're fishing at that point. I think they're fishing.
They're trying to be relevant. They're trying to be pop culture friendly. Just stop it. Just stick to school.
One of my biggest points would have been that if you have great acting, you have a great scene, a great storyline, great character build, all these things add up to a great film, right? And if you have that in place, the music is secondary to it, because you don't need music to carry it, you know. And I think that's the point for me that I really noticed, and I walked away from Avengers with, because it really, I mean, at that point I had never really put too much faith or stock in the soundtracks. Although, I mean, I'm a musician, I love them. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I whistle a theme from X-Files like every day. You know what I mean? Close Encounters.
Iconic.
Yeah, I fucking that was like I was an X-Files nut. I absolutely love X-Files. But without it, you know, would it have been the same show? I think so. I do. I believe it would have been. You know, it had great storyline, great acting, great characters, great believable things, and they did cool stuff. So while all that was memorable, I don't think it would have detracted it all without the soundtrack. I don't think so. But you take the Avengers now and you put a soundtrack to it, would that have made the scene more emotional, do you think? Or do you think that it would just was the right? I think, in my opinion, it was the right call to do it the way they did.
I think it was fine.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, actually, to quote a band, sometimes quiet is violent in and of itself. It's true, because silence forces you to deal with what is in front of you. And I think that is a great tool that not enough directors or cinematographers, whoever the fuck you are, not enough of you are utilizing that tool. So anyway, I guess kind of on the same topic, because again, you know, we're free 4 minutes tonight. We're just kind of all over the place. But kind of goes in line with something that I just said about shows. Oh, actually, Alex said, indeed, Stevie, I hate listening to modern music and futuristic movies, or even in creepy movies. They take out my attention, and truly, I'm the kind of person that starts talking about the things I don't like while the movie is running. Remind me to never watch a movie with you, please. No, I'm just kidding. But that's true. And I was about to go back to that as I saw what she posted. Something that came back on last night, The Walking Dead. So according to the comic or the show or whatever you want to go by, the world ended several years ago.
Right.
So like last season or the season before, where they're going to play a song that came out in 2015 or 16 or 17 or 18. How?
Right.
Because now I'm listening to the cheesy song that you thought went well with this emotional scene, and you've taken me out of it.
Right. You just crushed it. You ruined it.
You know, another one that comes to mind is the 100 on the CW here. Is they are hundreds of years into the future after the nuclear apocalypse. Okay. And I get that it's a young adult show and you want to be pop culture relevant and you want to play fun stuff and blah, blah, blah. But they play music in the show that the kids wouldn't have access to. How?
That's just stupid. It doesn't make sense, you know, and it really does. I mean, that's poor thought and judgment on my part.
It's stupid and it takes me out of it. And that is a huge fucking pet peeve of mine, especially when in horror and sci-fi, it's a big pet peeve. Because music can make or break a movie. But anyway.
Oh, totally.
I'm done with that rant. And
next.
So we've got like 14 minutes left here. I'm gonna hand the reins over to you. And like Alex says, I guess if they want to have people's attention, compose a track. I agree,
right.
Alex.
How about write your own score?
Have a score
like they did for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Well, or think of like something else. I feel like we're having like a very off metal, off horror show tonight, like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, we're someplace else tonight, people, but we're happy there.
Yeah, Game of Thrones has an original score that is magnificent.
Whoa!
What?
This thing just did some.
What? What are you talking about? What?
I just lost you completely, but you're back.
I don't know how you lost me. I've been here the whole time.
It's doing some really funky ass things.
Well, tell your printer to stop updating.
It's doing it again. It sounds like you're talking from underwater.
I don't understand.
Quit it! God damn it! Shut off the blender! I don't know.
Oh wait, are you done? I have no idea what's going on because there's nothing wrong on my end. So I am. You just seem to me like you have lost it.
That's been gone. We've covered that a long time ago, man. Come on, everybody. I'm drinking out of a fucking Tinkerbell cup, Stevie. Come on.
But real quick before we change subjects and move on to something else. Game of Thrones is a perfect example of that. Every single scene, every fucking moment, every episode has its own originally composed score. Every house has their own theme. Like, come on, guys. If Game of Thrones can do it, what's everybody else's excuse? You know. Alex wants to know, are you sure you didn't add something to your coffee, Joe?
What happened?
Alex wants to know, are you sure you didn't add something to your coffee?
Wow! No, I'm good! I'm fine!
Yeah, right. Anyway, I'm going to hand the reins over to you, Joe. We're at 12 minutes now. Go ahead.
This thing is doing my screen size just changed. There is I got so many weird anomalies on this thing right now that you may, if you are on my Facebook feed, you may see this shattered into a million pieces. This laptop I speak of after this show is over. I may take this outside and deal with it in a nice way. I mean that in a nice way.
You should recreate that scene from Office Space.
Oh my God. Folks, it's been a long fucking week. And we're fucking tired. We're people too, all right?
Yeah.
It happens. All right? You're with us. We're bullshitting. That's what we do. We come up here to entertain you. That's what we're doing. We're entertaining, goddammit. And we're drinking out of fucking
Tinkerbell cups.
Tinkerbell cups. That's all right. I got the standby here. I'm double fisted because I need to. Salute. So this is for everybody. Stevie, if you remember our first episode, we I tried to get an endorsement. Never happened. They never.
And I'm kind of sad.
Come on, guys. You gonna call me or what, guys? I thought we'd get an endorsement.
I don't need no stinking endorsement.
No. First, you get the power. Then you get the sugar. No, I'm kidding. I screwed that all up anyway. See what happens when you give me the reins? Everything goes.
So let me ask you something. Did you, a couple weeks ago, we had very quickly touched base on some drama that was going in the New Jersey metal club scene. Did you ever find out more about that?
I've been asking left and right, and I got nothing. I don't know. If anybody has anything that knows anything about, I'm not going to stick the controversy. I'm not going to stick my face in it. I'm not going to do it.
Right. What I am. Well, I'm nosy. You have a nosy co-host that needs to know. I want to know. I want to talk shit.
I have been out there asking people left and right on the circuit, and I haven't heard anything else about it. I heard one thing once, and that was it. And I was like, it just struck me as odd. And the theme that was being displayed to me was that there were certain clubs that didn't want people from certain states in those clubs, and I don't know if there's any reality to it. I don't know anything else other than that, but I know that the person that told me would be deemed credible. So something happened, and I'm going to find out. I'm gonna make Arnold Diaz look really silly. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. All right. See how long my finger is? Again, look at the long finger thing going there. It's a long finger, people. That's it. You've been warned. All right. Yeah. Yours is like 12 feet long. Oh look, a squirrel. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The squirrel comes. Oh, there it goes. Look at that. Because that's what we do here on Horror Metal Sounds.
It's true. It's true. This has been probably the silliest episode. And I blame partially myself because I've had
hand me the reins.
I've had like a nonstop last 3 days. Well, obviously yesterday I did nothing. However, it was the result of some hearty partying for like 2 days straight. But it was for science. Okay.
All right. So fun fact for everybody. As far as I go, I'm sober. I don't party. I haven't partied in 22 years now. And this is probably why I am the way I am. But, it's all right. I'm me every day, and I like it. Yeah,
okay. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Right, there's nothing wrong with that, and I'm happy. I'm happy being
like I said, I did enough. I probably did enough drinking for 6 people this weekend. But we're normally better planned out than this, but thank you for the people who have tuned in.
Yes, much appreciated.
It was a more horror-centric episode tonight, as well as we talked about the hurricane and how it brings out the worst in people. In addition to that, hey, listen, sometimes it's just nice to fuck off and just talk shit. And I kind of feel like we just talk a lot of shit anyway. It's kind of our thing.
Yeah, we do, but it's formed shit. It's a good loaf of shit. It's a formed log. It's not the loose brown spitty kind of shit. It's like the log, the log style shit, which is you get the Lincoln log floater going in there, which is perfect.
So apparently Alex was also curing a hangover. So she said, I am kind of tired too. After a whole day at a metal festival yesterday, I was curing a hangover and resting. And fun fact, Alex has not had a hangover in 4 years. So
I haven't had one in 22 to be exact. Now it's going on 22 years that I haven't had a hangover, and I'm happier.
Oh, that's
because I drank enough for me, for you, her, him, her, them, the cat, the bird.
I think my problem was I didn't get enough sleep.
Yeah, that's probably it.
With that being said, I've got nothing more for you. I got to go clean my yard so that
bear down for the hurricane.
Yeah, basically so that things don't fly and
right.
Kill a neighbor. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And I will keep you guys posted on my safety, which, again, I'm not concerned. However, thanks again to everybody that tuned in. Yeah. Questions, comments, concerns, send them our way.
We love you. We love you.
Yes. That's all I got, man. That's all I got. I'm just an asshole today. Yeah. Joe, you got anything for anybody?
Yeah, I could go on for days, but I'm not going to either. So I'm cooked too a little bit tonight, folks.
Yeah.
We're a little burnt out here. We got a lot of ground to cover on the next episode. We promise that's definitely going to be a little bit more energetic, perhaps. Stevie, you stay safe down there. I don't know if you guys are. If anybody is familiar, because we don't really ever talk about it here on the show. I'm in New Jersey and Stevie is in Florida. So this is a simulcast live thing, and I'm doing all the wizardry cool stuff, but I don't have a fucking clue what I'm doing. So the help would be appreciated. Anyway.
I tutor him.
So, yeah, see? Anyway, we're going to... Wait, what did you say? Did you what?
I said I tutor you because you're an old man.
Oh, that's right. She tutored me. Yes, she did. I didn't. I wanted to hear you say it twice because now I wasn't sure I heard it correctly the first time.
Oh, we love you though.
We do. I love me, and I'm okay with that. So we're gonna go, and we want to thank everybody for coming and sitting with us again tonight.
Yes. Yes, a new round of horror reviews are coming at you soon. Horrormetalsounds.com. Keep checking that. Give the Facebook page a like. Also check out my Breadwinner Facebook page. That's still on there. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Follow Joe on Instagram. Be friends with Joe on Facebook. That's really all we got tonight, guys. I'm gonna go clean my yard. On Instagram. I'm gonna go batten down the hatches, guys. Everybody, all my fellow Floridians and Gulf Coasters, stay safe.
Send me cool coffee mugs, please. Please send me a coffee mug.
Joe collects Disney princess coffee mugs. Everybody, what's more metal than a Disney princess? Not much.
Nothing says metal like a fucking coffee mug with a bitch on it. No, I'm kidding. I'm getting carried away. It's time to go.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Tune in next week. Same place, same time. We might even have some new guests for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Horror Metal Cast.
Goodbye. Ciao, guys. Love you. See you later.